Hi, Laura back again, ready for another video, this time on Steeple. The Steeple model is a key model of the SIPS qualifications and is actually a global macro environmental analysis tool, which essentially means it's looking at the global environmental factors that may impact an organisation. So we have to drill into all of these areas. Sometimes it's referred to as steeple, sometimes it's steepled, which I'll explain a little bit more later on. Socio-cultural, technological, economic, environmental, political, legal, and ethical make up the Steeple framework. Steeple analysis is one of the many strategic planning tools used by organisations to look at their strategic position within the market. Most companies may use the Steeple analysis method along with SWOT analysis, another video coming up, and essentially it's looking at macro environmental factors and major things in the global environment that may impact your organisation's strategic growth. We are going to do a Steeple analysis on Amazon today. For each of the factors in the Steeple model, I'll explain what's involved in them and then apply that to Amazon itself. Our first area are social cultural factors. So social cultural factors are things like demographics, population movement. Sometimes bear in mind that this can be separated out as an area on its own. Consumerism, consumer power, how much money we are spending, education, skilling, our values and attitudes to work, what we care about, employee relations, any cultural differences, and the way that gender roles plays a part in society. And if we apply some of these factors to Amazon, they're going to be impacted by increasing consumerism in developing countries, so that people in these countries are spending more money on items. Increasing online buying habits, and the fact that we want everything as consumers next day or same day, ideally. You know, I get to get my cheese within 2 hours if I need it, which is very important. I love a bit of cheese. And demographics movements. So from COVID, a lot of people have decided to move away from cities and have larger homes perhaps in more countryside or rural locations. All of this puts more of a stretch on Amazon's fulfillment. Technological factors. These factors are any information communication technology developments, things like the rise of artificial intelligence with self-driving cars, machine learning, and so on, and any automation, things like robots being used in warehouses. And when we apply this to Amazon, they will have certain technological issues with needing to ensure cybersecurity and ensure cybercrime because obviously they've got all the customers' data. It's also using things like drones for delivery and finding new technological advancements to make their logistics easier. They're using a lot of radio frequency identification in their Amazon Go or Amazon Fresh shops so that you can just basically scan yourself in and out. And they've got robots in their warehouses. Economic factors. There are tons of different economic factors, such as the strength and stability of a nation or their industry, the rates of inflation, interest and tax, employment levels. You could also link this to the economic cycles. Are we in boom or bust? Exchange rates and comparative wages and taxes if we're buying internationally, and freedom of labour, capital movements and trade agreements. So Amazon are massively impacted, just like every organisation would be. So things like the economic stability of their developed markets, especially the US and European countries, including the UK, even though we're outside of Europe now. Increasing disposable incomes in developing countries means more sales for Amazon. There may be potential economic recession of major markets, perhaps in China or other areas, especially with the hit of COVID. The cost of employment in different areas. And the cost of exchange rates too will make a massive difference to Amazon. Environmental factors. So environmental factors are things like consumer demand and public pressure for eco-friendly or environmentally friendly products and processes. Laws and regulations in terms of environmental health. Here in the UK, we've got things like the Environmental Protection Act and the WEEE Directive, the Waste of Electrical Electronic Equipment. Green issues in terms of availability, scarcity, and price of natural resources and commodities. For Amazon, this is about their fulfillment services and reverse logistics. They want to make all Amazon shipments net zero carbon, and they have a target of 50% of all shipments net zero carbon by 2030. They're starting to use electric delivery vehicles and redesigning packaging to reduce waste. Political factors. Political factors are things like government policies, grants and subsidies, and political risk if there's civil unrest or war in a particular area. Obviously, COVID has created many different political factors as well here. For Amazon, this is ensuring the political stability of developed countries, especially the USA and European countries that make up the majority of their sales. It's things like government support for e-commerce. Increasing government efforts on cybersecurity will help Amazon. But they've also had some threats from differing COVID restrictions from different political regimes. And there's a risk of political antitrust lawsuits, like America have just launched against Google, for the fact that they are allegedly preventing free and fair competition by them becoming quite a monopoly situation. Legal factors. Legal factors are the wide range of law and regulation on issues such as employment rights, workplace health and safety, and every other thing that it covers. Amazon will need to be aware of rising product regulations, of changing import and export regulations, in particular with things like Brexit, and any rising environmental protection regulations on businesses as well. Ethical factors. Ethical factors are things like consumer demand for ethically sourced and produced goods and services. For example, like fair trade items. It's looking at ethical codes and standards like the International Labour Organization or the Ethical Trading Initiative. And it's managing your ethical and reputational risk. Amazon are under fire for a number of potential ethical issues. For example, their low tax payments, so there may be alleged tax evasion issues here. They also have no policy on the living wage, so their workers may not be getting paid as much as some groups argue they should. And there are numerous issues around Amazon being a major player in nearly every market now, and therefore limiting competition to some degree. So although Amazon is in a very strong position, it does have some challenges out there in the environmental factors, along with some opportunities for them. Hope you found this useful. Please click that subscribe button and subscribe. We have videos launching every week, 2 a week. So please check those out and go to our website, www.businessacademy-online.com. Thanks for listening.